Welcome to the deep dive. If you've ever felt like, you're doing all the right things, working hard, maybe earning a decent income, but somehow your savings account just never seems to keep up, well, this deep dive is definitely for you. We are tearing into material from a source called Wealth Explained. And it doesn't really focus on how to get rich per se, but on these 7 subtle, often unconscious behavioral patterns, things that actively stop people from building real freedom.
That's absolutely the key point here. Our mission today really is to face a potentially uncomfortable truth,
Okay.
which is that most money problems, they aren't just external. It's not always the economy or your boss or just bad luck.
Right.
The source material argues, pretty forcefully actually, that it's our own habits and our conditioning, our internal operating system, you could say.
Oh, okay.
That's what determines whether we struggle or succeed. Wealth, it says, is built by intentional behavior, not just by getting a high income or, some happy accident.
So the core of this whole discussion then is awareness. Like the biggest leverage point if you're feeling stuck is simply recognizing the patterns you might be trapped in.
Exactly.
So we're here to expose those behavioral fences that kind of keep the average person locked into a cycle of scarcity.
Precisely. We're moving past just blaming external stuff and actually looking at the mental and, financial sabotage we might be doing to ourselves every day.
Makes sense.
If you understand the trap, you can start planning the escape.
Okay, let's start with the first 2 patterns then. These deal with appearances and just basic knowledge. Habit number 1 is what Wealth Explained called the image trap, basically. Spending to impress, buying status, living for approval, and sacrificing real financial freedom just to look successful.
It's the ultimate form of modern performance art, isn't it? We live in an era where social media is like this constant stage.
Sure.
People are spending money they really don't have to buy things they don't actually need, purely for that social validation. That need to project success, it becomes this invisible hand guiding all their spending choices.
I found the story of Mike in the source kind of chilling because it's so relatable,
Which one was that?
He was the guy at the networking event designer suit, shiny BMW, which was financed, by the way.
Of course.
But he admitted he was carrying like $20,000 in credit card debt.
Wow. 20 grand.
Yeah. And he literally said, quote, "People treat you differently when you look successful." He was paying a huge premium for borrowed confidence.
And that premium often leads straight to bankruptcy. What the source really wants us to get is that those who look rich often aren't.
Right.
Real lasting wealth, it's quiet, it can even be kind of dull, and it doesn't need external validation. Contrast Mike with someone like Ronald Reed, the janitor and gas station attendant.
Oh yeah, I remember that story.
Lived his entire life super simply, invested consistently, and then died with a portfolio worth over $8 million.
$8 million. Incredible.
But he didn't spend a single dime on impression. Every dollar went towards accumulation.
That reframing is really powerful. Moving from spending for impression, trying to meet someone else's, imaginary standard,
Right.
to spending for expression, using money in ways that actually align with your own values.
And that transition leads us perfectly into the second trap, which is maybe the most insidious because it's so passive. Habit number 2, the silent leak.
The silent leak.
Yeah. This is just ignorance about where your money goes. It's financial negligence, basically accepted as the default.
The moment you hear yourself say or even think, "I don't even know where my money goes," well, you've kind of handed over the steering wheel, haven't you?
Absolutely. When you don't track it, when you don't watch it, your money just quietly slips away. And that negligence, it becomes someone else's profit. The subscription service you forgot about, the daily little buys.
Yeah, those microtransactions.
The psychology here is really interesting too. We often avoid tracking because, maybe subconsciously, we fear what the numbers will tell us. We fear the judgment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we'd rather live in this sort of comfortable denial than face the reality of our spending habits. But money doesn't care about your feelings. It just leaves.
Think about Angela's story from the material. A hardworking single mother, earning enough, seemingly, to be comfortable, but always feeling financially strangled. After tracking her spending for just 1 month, she found almost $300 a month just disappearing.
$300.
Yeah, into what she thought were harmless habits. Multiple coffee stops, those spontaneous Amazon buys, taking Ubers instead of planning ahead.
Wow. And $300 a month, that could be a serious emergency fund payment or invested.
Exactly. It's not the one big purchase that kills you, it's the lack of awareness that allows thousands of these small leaks.
Awareness really is the only superpower you need to start building wealth. You've got to know what you already have and where it's going before you can even worry about earning more.
Okay, so if the first two habits are about image and basic control, the next two deal more with security and patience. Let's shift into section 2. Habit number 3 is the job trap, relying only on one source of income. The source compares this to balancing your entire future on, like, one leg.
And you just know sooner or later, someone's gonna nudge you, right? The whole idea of job security these days, it's almost an oxymoron.
Yeah, feels that way sometimes.
A job isn't security, it's a contract. A contract for temporary labor that can be, dissolved immediately. Restructuring, market changes, AI, whatever.
Oh, I wonder though, is that mindset a bit too harsh? I mean, doesn't the source acknowledge that for most people, a single job is necessary for stability? Diversification can feel like a luxury, right? Like you need extra time or capital.
It does acknowledge that, absolutely. But the point isn't that you shouldn't have a job. The point is you should never have only a job.
Ah, okay. That's the distinction.
Yeah. You need to view your income not as a single river, but more like a system of streams, however small they might start out. Raymond's story in the material illustrates this risk perfectly.
What happened with him?
10 years of loyal service at a big telecom company. Totally blindsided when the restructuring email hit. His realization was just painful. He said, I thought I had a career, but I just had a paycheck that could be taken away.
Oof, that hits hard.
Yeah.
That's the difference between being needed and just being replaceable.
Right.
The goal, which I love from the source, is to stop being one decision away from being broke.
Exactly.
That shift to planting other small seeds, a side hustle, investments, maybe rental income, down the line, it grants you actual options.
And options are freedom. When your entire survival doesn't hang on that one paycheck, you gain power. Power to negotiate, power to walk away from a toxic situation, or just feel safer during an economic downturn. The real risk isn't trying something new that might fail. The real risk is having zero alternatives.
That focus on planting seeds, it leads perfectly into habit number 4, the instant gratification trap, or simply thinking short term. This might be the toughest habit culturally to break.
It absolutely is. We are just primed by everything around us, marketing, technology to demand speed, fast shipping, quick answers, instant results.
Yeah, now.
But that constant pursuit of quick is the psychological enemy of wealth. Wealth, by its very nature, compounds slowly. It demands patience.
Short-term thinkers are always chasing moments instead of mastery. I thought that was such a brilliant distinction, mistaking activity for progress. You see this with the story of Jason. Ambitious guy, high energy, but constantly jumping between hustles. Crypto 1 month, flipping sneakers the next, then drop shipping.
Chasing the shiny object.
Exactly. He was always busy. And sometimes he made good money, but he never kept it. He never stayed long enough to let anything actually grow roots.
He was harvesting way too early. The compounding effect, whether it's in skills, a business, or money, it only works if the seed is left alone long enough to mature. Impatience just burns out your savings and your ideas. If you feel you need to see a massive return in like 6 months, you're naturally going to gravitate towards higher risk, low probability schemes, or you'll just spend whatever you earn.
But when you can embrace that delayed gratification, time becomes your greatest ally, doesn't it?
Totally.
The source gives the example of Kareem. Started investing just $200 a month at age 25. Pretty manageable for many.
Okay.
By age 35, just through sheer consistency, that portfolio was already over $60,000.
Wow, just from $200 a month.
Yeah. He wasn't relying on luck or being some kind of genius. He was just relying on time and consistency.
Short-term thinking basically consumes your resources right now. Long-term thinking preserves them, multiplies them, often silently in the background. The difference is purely your perspective on time.
Okay, let's move to the final set of traps. These are related to growth, environment, and courage. Section 3 starts with habit number 5, the ignorance tax, avoiding financial education. And the source material is pretty blunt here. It says ignorance is far more expensive than debt.
Wow. More expensive than debt.
Yeah, because it silently taxes every single financial decision you make or don't make.
It's the cost of inaction, really, and the fear of the unknown. Millions of people keep themselves paralyzed with that limiting belief, oh, I'm just not good with numbers.
You hear that all the time.
Yeah. They assume finance is some super complex math, when actually the essential rules of the game are pretty simple. They just require a bit of curiosity.
And that refusal to learn is often disguised as being safe. Right?
Exactly.
Like Claire in the material. Diligent, hardworking, but kept all her savings tucked away safely in a standard bank account. She thought she was being prudent, careful.
Playing it safe.
But the source points out she was paying that ignorance tax daily, right? Losing value constantly to inflation. It was a slow, invisible, but totally guaranteed loss. All because she feared learning how basic investing or even high-yield savings worked.
You don't need a finance degree. You just need to understand the simple mechanics of growth and preservation. Once you commit to being curious and learn those basic rules, nobody can ever take that power away from you. Knowledge compounds, just like money, and it protects you.
Okay, now for maybe one of the toughest ones personally. Habit number 6, the environment trap. Surrounding yourself with financially broke thinkers.
Yeah, this one can be tricky.
And the source is really clear. This isn't about someone's income level, it's about the poverty of your attitude.
That's the crucial distinction. Broke thinkers are people without growth in their mindset. They're defined by having kind of made peace with limitation.
Right.
They're the ones who repeat those cynical phrases like, oh, rich people are just greedy, or life's unfair, it's all about luck. Essentially building a story that excuses their own inaction or lack of progress.
And the really tragic part is that your environment slowly rewrites your beliefs, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Subtly.
If your network constantly talks about problems, obstacles, what's not possible, you internalize that scarcity. Your own vision shrinks to fit the accepted level of struggle around you. Your net worth is built on your network, sure, but the source says that that network is really made of ideas, not just people.
It's incredibly hard to outgrow the consensus of the people you're closest to. But if you start consciously spending time, even virtually, like listening to podcasts or reading books with people who discuss systems, opportunities, legacy, your own standards just start to change. You begin to quietly outgrow the limitations you once accepted. You realize that maybe much of your own perceived ceiling was just constructed from the borrowed beliefs of others.
That sets us up perfectly for the final habit, habit number 7, the comfort trap. Fearing risk and change.
Ah, the big one.
This quiet, polite fear. It often masquerades as just being careful or being realistic, but it is arguably the most destructive habit of them all.
It really is the master of procrastination, isn't it? If safety becomes your absolute highest priority, it stops being a shield. It starts becoming a prison.
A prison, wow.
Avoiding all risk doesn't actually protect you from loss. It guarantees you lose out on potential.
We see this so clearly with Henry's story. He spent 22 years in the exact same job because, as he put it, at least it's safe.
22 years?
Yeah, paralyzed by the thought of losing that stability. And then, inevitably, corporate restructuring happens, and he loses the job anyway.
Oh, man.
His deep, really tragic realization was, I spent 20 years being afraid of losing this job. Then I lost it anyway.
The comfort zone didn't save him at all. It just stole 2 decades. 2 decades of potential learning, diversifying, creating options for himself. Failure isn't the opposite of success. Failure is just the tuition you pay to gain wisdom. Wealthy people aren't fearless. They've just learned that the fear of staying small, the fear of regret, is far greater than the fear of acting and maybe failing.
That contrast is everything, isn't it? Fear tells you, what if you fail? Courage whispers back, what if you fly?
Great quote.
You have to stop playing just not to lose and actually commit to playing to win your own game.
That comfort zone. It's the most dangerous place to stay precisely because it feels so secure. It promises certainty, but what it really delivers is regret down the line.
So let's bring this all back to you, the listener. We've walked through these 7 habits. You can almost see them as cages, right? Cages built from comfort, from culture, from these conditioned fears. But the key to unlock those cages is actually pretty simple. It's awareness. The goal here isn't just about getting a high bank balance. It's about getting free. Free from the constant anxiety and the scarcity mindset these habits create.
And remember, you are not behind or broken just because some of this resonates. You're simply waking up, maybe waking up to a new set of rules for the game. The cycle of poor financial habits. It only persists when it's invisible. Once you see it, once you expose it, it starts to lose its power over you. Wealth truly belongs not just to the lucky, but to the aware and the willing.
And this leaves us with that final, really provocative thought from the source material. You are one decision away from a completely different financial life.
One decision.
Think about that. If the habits that kept you poor were never actually stronger than that single choice that can set you free, what small, intentional decision will you make today to stop living on autopilot? Will you finally start tracking where your money goes? Or maybe invest just 30 minutes this week learning about that one financial concept you've always avoided? The choice starts now.